vision and she's got
So I'm delighted to have Quotes for the Dead here this afternoon. How are you guys doing? And please introduce yourselves.
We're really good. I'm Lauren, I'm the lead singer and rhythm guitarist. And this is Brian, my fabulous lead guitarist. And synths and everything else.
Eventually. Yeah, we'll get there.
So I've definitely missed hearing from you and how proactive you are releasing music and performing for crowds. You're obviously quite dedicated people, so how has it been for you trying to adjust to everything that's been happening?
Well, we were gigging right up until the first lockdown came in.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact it was like that week in March where we thought our last gig was going to get cancelled, but we were like, nah, no one's told us no, so we'll just carry on.
I was actually sick that week as well. So was my girlfriend and her mum, and we may have had the coronavirus.
I know, I think we did actually have COVID.
We had the symptoms anyway. And I've known a few people who have had positive tests and have had symptoms, so yeah,
it's been
wild.
a bit mad. And then because all the rules were a bit all over the place, we weren't sure can we still at least write together just in like the bedrooms and stuff, because we live in different areas and we just weren't sure can I travel to him, can he travel to me, so it kind of unfortunately just sitting in that limbo part of it, it was just didn't know what to do.
And I was saying to one of the bands I was interviewing earlier that it's kind of uncharted territory for a lot of us, because see, we've always been around music, and seeing that it's took away from us, you realise how much a bigger impact it has on you, you know?
I know.
Yeah.
We just sort of sat there going...
Because other than going to work, there's like
yeah,
nothing to do now.
That's true, because I ended up getting pulled into work near enough full time, because I'm a support worker, so I was one of the frontline staff, and I worked so much and then I was too tired to do anything else. It's been a bit mad.
I've been on and off furlough. This will be the third time now when it comes in tonight. So it's just
but we
really
did
no idea what's going on.
We did try and do some writing. At least we could do that. We've got a couple of new songs on the go at the minute, so we're hoping to carry that on.
It annoys me when you see that Win Butler from Arcade Fire has apparently written like 5 albums while he's been in lockdown, which is ridiculous. But fair enough.
Aye, so for people that don't know, Quotes for the Dead are a post-grunge band from Scotland. I've seen yous a handful of times now, and something I've always felt about yous is that you're a really unique group, and yous have had a lot of different influences, but what I find interesting is I feel as if that a lot of influences have came from like local acts as well as kind of mainstream abroad. Who is it that you say has helped shape the sound of your band?
What, locally?
Even just in general,
Even
actually.
in general? I'd say all 4 of us have got different influences, but the main one that seems to connect us all is probably Nirvana.
Yeah.
But locally, we've grown a connection to bands like Gravel. You watch them on stage and they're just hypnotic, and you just think, my God, like they could do something like that, and what could they inspire us in a different way as well. So
when you see bands live, it
Yeah.
has, I think, a lot more influence than listening to a record.
yeah,
Because you can see how other people are interacting
you can
with it.
visualise exactly what can be done in a small space with a limited budget, and it just kind of pushes you to work harder and think more.
Yeah, you can also look at it and go, oh, that was good, I'm going to stay with that.
No, but not.
No.
I think what is quite unique as well is that there's no other a right way to do music,
Yeah.
and some people can have like a really big sense of charisma on stage. Some people have a presence, where some people it's just all about the kind of the subtleties of their music. So I find
Yeah.
that I always find that interesting that there's no right way to do it, you know.
Yeah,
Definitely. Like
I think that's true. Even in this band,
I
there's
think
there's no one
the
way.
pressure, I know, because the pressure of being like a front woman is the sort of expectation to be the flamboyant and getting in people's faces, and I'm naturally quite shy, so that's terrifying. But then you see some people that just literally stand there and yet they've completely captured an audience, and you're like, how do I do that? I want to just stand there and just look awesome.
That is quite cathartic when,
Yeah.
as well, I'm also quite a naturally introverted person. But when I get on stage, that's like not the case at all. Like I like running about and
Throwing your
sliding
guitar
around
about the place.
throwing things.
No, that is quite a true sentiment, I'd say, for you, Brian, because you're quite a quiet person, but
Yeah.
on stage you're a different
Nutter.
character. And I think that's interesting as well, that some people create kind of personalities for their on-stage performance, and
Yeah.
they become different people. It's almost
Yeah.
like acting in a sense.
I think that's true, yeah.
Yeah, and especially like depending on what song we're playing, I'll perform it in a different way because like each song has its own wee personality and the message is different. So you'll try and sort of create a different persona depending on what song I'm doing.
Well, what else I think is particularly unique about your band is like the writing involved in the tracks.
Mhm.
So something I've noticed is that a lot of the lyrics are quite accurately angered. I'd say that's the best way to describe it.
Mhm.
Do you feel like a sense of angst when you're writing the tracks?
Yes.
Definitely.
Literally is in every sense.
Yeah. We've quite literally had. I've thrown empty bottles at them because we were trying to argue over lyrics. I'm like, no, we're not doing that, and we can't decide on something. But then we end up sort of meeting in the middle and thinking of, because lyrics are really important. If it's just as important as the music to us, because you know we've got something to say and we want to make sure it's said in the best way.
It's very nice that you say that actually, Daryl, because like, it's something we put a lot of thought and effort into.
Yeah.
And sometimes it feels a little bit like it doesn't get as much.
Yeah,
Attention.
it's not very often the song comes up and says.
Not that it deserves attention.
Oh, I think your tracks were accurately angered.
Yeah.
Yes,
you
no
know.
one's ever said that to me before.
So you released your last single, Legs Akimbo, earlier this year, and I really enjoyed it. I get a sense as a band you've really got comfortable in the song-making process together, and that you're all really pushing the tracks on a creative level. Since lockdown started in March, has it made you more determined to create ambitious music?
Yes,
Yeah.
it has for me, definitely. That's the one thing lockdown has given me is time.
Honestly, think lockdown was the best thing that ever happened to
Yeah,
me because
I've been able to like experiment with things, and
yeah,
I've had to learn new skills to get there, to get to the kind of level I'm wanting to get to, but hopefully I'll get there. Just
definitely because like obviously we have a particular sound, and then when lockdown happened, I couldn't see him for ages, and then when the first time we could go back and write together, he was like, right, I've got a couple of ideas, just let me know what you think, and he pressed play. And I was like, who the hell is this? Like, what is this? So, yeah, I would say definitely he's worked very hard during lockdown.
yeah. So one thing I'll say about like with us writing songs together is when we initially started the band, we thought we were going to be a bit more like upbeat, like kind of fun kind of band.
Yeah,
But as we've spent more time together and written together and called the band Quotes of the Dead, we've just realised we're both actually like miserable bastards. So we've kind of tailored the sound a bit more to that.
yeah.
It's a bit darker, a bit sadder.
It was supposed to be kind of poppy punk, and then it just ended up a
Whatever
lot
we
more
became.
Whatever sound
It's just
we've become.
what we actually wanted to communicate
Mhm.
was
I think we ended up caring less about what was popular and what other
Yeah.
people said was, you know, this makes a good track and you should do this, you should do that, and we just went, do you know what, we're going to just do what we want to do.
And I think that's the interesting thing as well, is because I think when you're starting out as a band, you're always kind of taking ideas and influences off other people, but there comes a point, and that's what I feel with you guys, that these are like becoming your own thing, you know what I mean? And you're obviously, you've still got those influences there, but you're going in the direction that you want to go.
Yeah,
You know?
I think that's why a lot of people find it difficult to say, oh, who do you sound like, and we find it hard to say who we sound like. I think I just get a lot of bands with female leads purely because it's a female lead, and I'm like, but really, does that actually sound like us?
Right.
Which
That's
I quite
like
like. I
saying-
guess that's a nice compliment.
That's
You
like
can't
saying, you know,
pin us.
you remind me of the band Pixie Lot or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
it reminds me of The Cure because you've got weird hair. But it might be a cliche, but I think the most like commercially viable thing you can be is yourself. Really.
Aye, true. As soon as you stop caring about what other people expect you to do, you end up doing exactly what you want.
On a personal level, do you find it easy to communicate personal lyrics with an audience? How much does it matter when somebody expresses how much they enjoyed something they created?
Well, I think all our songs are personal. But I think say for example, if it's Brian that's written the lyrics to something, I need to try and really get in his headspace so that when I'm performing it, I feel as though I've written it. But for example, the song Dancing Dolls is from a personal experience, and so I make sure that that trauma is expressed. When everyone says Dancing Dolls is, you know, it really pulls at their heartstrings, that I'm proud of that, because I'm thinking, yes, that's what I wanted you to feel, it's depressed, because it's depressing.
And you want to bring out that depression and the emotions
Yeah.
that you feel into other people.
Yeah.
And it's weird as well, because I think, see, when people feel sad or angry or happy in a song, when you can relate with it, it does make you feel sad, but there's a sense that makes you feel quite good as well. Like, oh, somebody
Yeah.
gets that, somebody
Yeah,
understands
it's like
that.
you
I think that's absolutely true, yeah.
become connected to the other person, even if you've just met them that night. You feel connected to them, it's nice.
So, what's been some of your favourite gigs the last couple of years to look back on, and what's been your favourite memories as a band together?
Do you know what, some of the favourite memories actually just as a band is just being in here. We could spend 3 hours just messing about until one of us just goes and clicks into something. It's that moment where you realise the song's actually coming together, because although Brian and I write a lot of the song in the bedroom, it's not until the 4 of us are in the room that James then goes, no, we're doing this, and then Greg pulls in his ideas, and an actual song comes from it.
Mm-hmm.
And we've met so many amazing musicians and amazing bands that have kind of pushed us. I think everyone expects us to say like Ezra Miller because he's such a big name band, and we played King Tut's, and yeah, that was good, but actually we've really enjoyed our friendship with like Velvet Starlings from LA, because he's such a young guy and he's got so much energy, and I think they've got a background in Scotland as well, so they want to keep that relationship open, and the bands like that kind of push you and go, oh, see what they're doing, let's let's do that too.
And again, like bands, I think there's nothing better when a band's open with you. You know what I mean? When you're learning the process and the craft yourself, when you get somebody that's kind of cheering you on, it's great, you know. And it makes you more keen on listening to them as well when they're giving you that support and give it back, you know.
It's dead easy for like the music industry to be dead cliquey or be competitive, and it's almost like you don't want to show up at other people's gigs because you feel like somehow there's that sort of negative energy. But I think actually if you learn to just support each other and push each other and go to each other's gigs and advertise each other's singles, then you'd all end up getting a lot further on.
And I think, especially with lockdown, I think people are going to really appreciate turning up to any gig now, as well as so much more. Like, it's something that I really want to do, just see as much gigs as I can.
Definitely. There's just even sitting in here, Brian and I were sitting here going, oh my god, just listening to
There's like
live
7
music.
different genres going on outside.
And it was just nice just to listen to that
just
sort of chaos.
bounce something.
Yeah.
But, so one of the favourite things that I've ever experienced at a gig was actually afterwards when we were all looking for food in Dunfermline. And James asked for a sausage supper and he opened it and he gave him these like pathetic little hot dogs.
Yeah.
And he was so angry and I thought it was so funny.
Because James doesn't really get angry, he's so like so together in himself, and you get really mad about these stupid sausage
That was
supper.
such a funny trip.
Since things have been on hold since March, how much have you missed being involved with live music, and do you feel people will appreciate it even more in the future?
Definitely. Well, we'd hope so anyway.
Live music's how like we all met. That's how I met Lauren. That's how Lauren met James.
Yeah.
That's how I met my girlfriend.
Yeah.
It's a very significant thing in our lives.
It's how I met you too as well,
It's
isn't it?
it's how everybody meets each other in the industry.
Yeah, definitely. It's good to. It's the energy you can get in a room when you listen to a cracking band. It's nothing like it. You know, the floor's vibrating. You're just surrounded by people, and we're all like
Especially when
enjoying
you
it
meet new
together.
bands and you get friendly with them and everybody's getting on.
Yeah.
All the bands are having a great night.
Yeah, and then you've got like you
Show's
open up
really
that
good.
relationship and you think, oh, why don't we collab? And you've got that back and forth.
And it's good as well, see, like when you're playing a gig and that, once you come off, there's like the kind of the pressure's off you, and you can
Mhm,
just
you just
relax,
have
and
fun.
Yeah, that's
everybody
good,
just
yeah,
having
that's
a
a-
good
that's a good
good time, you
feeling.
know.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a nervous wreck before we go on, so I actually enjoy the gig afterwards.
I know it's what you need to do, innit? It's so much pressure off you, and then like when people are trying to speak to you once you've finished the gig as well, it's so overwhelming, it, because you
Yeah.
went through so many emotions. But listen, that's been fantastic. I've really enjoyed having you on. So when can we expect to hear something new from you all?
When is this vaccine coming in?
I have no idea.
Maybe then.
As soon as we can, like when there are fewer restrictions and we can actually write, because we have got near enough a new song. It would be just trying to get it out there.
Try to flesh out more ideas.
Yeah, but
We've got like quite a few projects on the go,
we do.
and hopefully
We do.
at some point we can get in a studio and get it recorded.
Yeah, because actually what broke my heart the most was just before lockdown we were planning recording Dancing Dolls in April, like officially, and that was going to be our next single, and that just
It just never.
it just never happened. So that was a bit heartbreaking, but as soon as we can, that's our mission.
Yes, we will be releasing new material.
Well, that's
Yes.
great to hear. That's an official statement of Quotes of the Dead,
I'll
right?
be held to that. You can sue me if it doesn't happen.
Right, well, thanks for coming on, and I hope you have a good time.
Cheers,
Thanks,
thank
Darren.
you.
Cheers.